Many of you will be familiar with this car just from the shop we're showing here. It is the mighty Ferrari F40. I want to give you this opportunity because we've been granted access to the car. I want to show you around some of the things that attracted me to it when I was a Ferrari mechanic back in the late 80s. And really, it was the design of this car when I was working at Greypool Motors in England that inspired me to want to work in Formula One, because this car in every way is a Ferrari race car that was made for the road. And it was my first exposure really to Formula One technology. Composite materials are everywhere, and there are really no concessions to comfort, for the cockpit has been stripped of everything that isn't necessary. Come and have a look with me. I want to show you around this car. We have deliberately removed or lifted up the front cover and the engine cover at the back just to show you how basic it is on the inside. Once you remove this aerodynamic panel here, which is all composite materials, you can see it's not far off an open wheel race car design. You've got A-arms at the top here and the dampers set down in the middle here. And this very lightweight ducting is simply the cooling for the brakes. And in terms of using it for weight reduction, tie wraps or zip ties are everywhere on the car. And again, composite materials everywhere. Two fans for the cooling at the top. This is all composite too, but just look how lightweight it is once you remove that panel. And as we move back here along the flanks of the car, and I just mentioned to you earlier on that everything has been stripped out of this car which isn't necessary. That is pure race car engineering and design. If it has no reason to be there, take it away, because it will hopefully prevent the car from failing on track. It's a rule of Formula One engineering and race car design in general, really. If it isn't needed, get it away. Put the camera on the inside and just have a look at that. The extensive use of the carbon fiber and composite materials all around here, on the seat of course, but down in the footwell, no real carpets, lightweight covering on the dash, a push button start, the famed manual transmission of course down there, hardly any driver assistance or electronic aids on the car as well, composite materials all over the inside of the door. And to that extent as well, I'm just going to flip up this little catch at the back here, and you'll notice, you come around the back, you can see it's composite materials as well, even on the filler cap. Lightweight, lightweight, lightweight. In racing, weight is everything. In Formula One, 10 kilos of weight, so about 22 pounds, is about 4/10 of a second in terms of on-track performance. It is vital to make the car as lightweight as possible. Come around the back and have a look what's happening, what Ferrari are up to at the back. This fairly colossal engine cover, but again, it's got a plexiglass cover so you can see through the rear screen and down onto the engine bay, but also again, lightweight, lightweight all the time. And look how open it is around here. The V8 engine, twin turbo engine, pushed as far forward as possible to get it right up to the bulkhead behind the driver. Again, it is vital to do that in terms of race car design and engineering, because you want the mass of all the components, the fuel tank, the occupants of the car, and the weight and the mass of the engine and the transmission to be as close to the center line as possible and as low down to the track or to the road as possible. The more weight that you can get closer to the track or to the road will improve the handling characteristics of the car. The exhaust flowing out the rear here, you can just see behind the exhaust pipes we have the transmission, but again we're looking at the tail of the transmission, and the clutch and everything is pushed far forward. The drivetrain itself is down underneath here, and you can see that feeding through to these colossal tires and wheels on the back here, coilover dampers as well. Again, just gives an example of what Ferrari were doing. And remember, this is for customers. It was a race car. You could say in every way really this represents the first supercar. Some may argue that it was a 288 GTO, the car that came before this, and I would agree, but a lot of the engineering that came from the 288 GTO that they couldn't use in racing because the rules were changed, a lot of those components were pushed forward to make this car. And remember, in terms of Ferrari heritage, in terms of Ferrari lineage, this car, the F40, represents the final project that was approved greenlit and signed off by the creator of the company, Enzo Ferrari himself. Now, over the years, when the car first came out, there was some criticism of the car because, well, it was a little bit difficult to handle on track and there was no real comfort on the inside. Some members of the motoring press couldn't quite figure that out, but over the years, over the decades, folks have really become to appreciate and love the F40 for what it is. When you compare this car to modern supercars and modern hypercars with all the electronics, which means that the driver will be saved by the onboard computers, you get none of that in here. This is out and out Ferrari race car engineering given to their road car customers. Thanks for joining us.